Brooklyn Independent Television.
We'll pick back up with Sherry's report in a moment. First, Jenny Passe Rodriguez sat down with the principal of the country's second oldest high school, where reorganization is giving Erasmus Hall another shot at greatness.
In the heart of East Flatbush sits the oldest school in New York, now known as Erasmus Hall campus. It was established in 1787 as Erasmus Hall Academy with 6 students and 1 master teacher. At the turn of the 20th century, it grew to 4 buildings that made up Erasmus Hall High School.
The school went from one building of many popular people. If you go to erasmushall.org, you'll see it. It says notable alumni. You'll also find out that the building was approximately about 6,000 to 7,000 students in its heyday.
That was in the 1940s and 50s when the school produced 4 Westinghouse Science winners in 12 years. But just a few decades later, Erasmus Hall High School had a graduation rate of only 40%. In 1994, the Department of Education made an effort to address the low performance. They phased out Erasmus Hall High School, thereby closing it, created 4 themed schools, all housed on the newly named Erasmus Hall campus.
Yes, I received it. I'm going over it right now to fill in all the pertinent information.
Leonard Casson is principal of High School for Service and Learning. It's one of the now 5 schools housed at Erasmus Hall campus. The schools have to share a swimming pool, library, and unlike most schools in New York City, 4 gyms and 3 cafeterias. So Casson coordinates with the 4 other principals to determine how their 2,400 students will use the facilities.
There's a principal's council that we sit with the APs, and also each principal discusses what their needs are through the building. We then place a budget, right? It's given from each school, X amount of dollars to run people to support, to pay people to support the actual campus itself.
Casson says there are benefits to small schools like his as long as the proper system is in place to address the needs of all learners.
Well, the big school, you have lots of kids that get lost in the system, right? They have X amount of students that will not graduate due to the fact that they don't get the right guidance. They can reach that kid. They get they slip through the actual holes in the system. In a small school, we're capable of finding those holes, and we plug them up. All right. We demand the children to reach out to the parents. We constantly yell at them and tell them, this is what we have to do, get your son in school. We have to know you have a regents, you have to be here on time. We give them social, emotional, and academic support.
But despite more individualized attention to students, critics say a sense of camaraderie is lost when schools like Erasmus Hall are closed, reorganized, or replaced with another.
When a school closes, it doesn't just affect kids, it affects the community as a whole. And I think that what happens in that is when it affects the community, parents are used to a principal that might have done well. And if that principal is leaving, then the parents are wondering, well, who's the next person coming in? I don't think necessarily the small schools inside a big building is bad. But if you're going to have that, then all 5 of those schools need to be in tune with the community. And that's the principal's responsibility in a lot of ways.
And behind here, there is a stained glass.
Casson says the success of a school is also dependent on its resources, which are often limited at small schools.
You cannot run a school as a business. You have to run it as a village, and you have to run it with support. And the difference of running budgetary is great to do that for accountability, but it doesn't support children's needs, right? Socially, emotionally. It doesn't help them academically. I don't have the system to have 9 teachers on a grade, all right, and I should say department, or 12 teachers in a certain area so I can move a child from one class to another till we find the right fit. Here we have a department of 1 ESL teacher. I have 3, I'm now 4 years, I now have 4 or 5, I have 5 social studies teachers. But before that, I used to work with 1 teacher in each subject. All right, then I went to 2 teachers.
To date, there are only a dozen high schools in Brooklyn that have been spared the chopping block since high schools began closing in the early 1990s. They include Boys and Girls High School, James Madison High School, and Midwood High School. For Brooklyn Review, I'm Jenny Passe Rodriguez.
Brooklyn Independent Television on the BCAT TV network.